Judge, we're here today on the state's suit affecting the parent-child relationship. This is the fourth setting in the case. At the last setting, Mr. Thigpen had requested a DNA test. The state is requesting the court to order Mr. Thigpen to appear in person at the next live docket to submit to court-supervised paternity testing. Mr. Thigpen currently resides out of state. However, under long arm, we are requesting that he appear in person. Ms. Bernard has reviewed the photo presented at the testing appointment and confirmed that it does not match Mr. Thigpen's appearance. Furthermore, the phone number and signature used at the testing appointment do not match the contact details in the signature of Mr. Thigpen. Due to this, we are concerned about the validity of the test and requesting that the test occur under court supervision. If I could call Ms. Bernard.
Yes.
Ms. Bernard, can you please state your full name for the record?
Sierra Nicole Bernard.
Okay. And do you recall at the time of the child's birth when an acknowledgement of paternity was signed for this child?
Yes. He was born on May 9th. So it was either that Sunday, May 10th, or that Monday, May 11th.
Okay. And who signed this acknowledgement of paternity as the father?
Xavier Thigpen.
Okay. And were you shown a photo that was taken at the DNA testing appointment?
Yes.
Okay. And was this a photo of Mr. Thigpen?
No, it was not.
Okay. And are you requesting a second test due to the concern that the test results were not of Mr. Thigpen?
Yes, along with some other things I would like to request as well, but yes.
Okay, and what additional measures are you requesting?
It's just a safety concern at this point. We're dealing with someone who is well known in the area, and if you work in the sheriff's department and you send someone else to go and take your DNA test, I have no clue what you're capable of, and that is very alarming for me.
So at the front there, it sounded like she said that when the baby was born that he went on ahead and signed the birth certificate, which a lot of men will do because they're trying to be good men. And then just I think the stigma around getting a DNA test, paternity test, some people make you feel kind of like icky and, well, you're not a real man for, stepping up, that it's yours, just be a man and take it. But I think he's coming around to, hey, maybe this child isn't mine. I think a lot of times what women will do is they say, well, you've been taking care of it for so long, just let it be yours. Even though in the beginning, when he was signing that birth certificate, they had a pretty good idea that this child might not have been his.
As you recall, there was a lot of issues at the last hearing where Mr. Thigpen was saying he signed the AOP, but now he's questioning paternity. And I had the discretion at that time of either granting or allowing him to do a DNA test or holding him to the AOP. Now, for purposes of eliminating any future issues of paternity, I went ahead.
And I'm also wondering if this is like the first, maybe I missed that too, but if this is the first time he's had questions or doubts. I'm wondering if there was some talk around town or through the grapevine where he says, I'm not 100% sure if that child is mine. And she's been trying to mess around and not do what she's supposed to be doing and keep the child away from him, that other nonsense, which some of these ladies out here will do.
And ordered that Mr. Thigpen be allowed to take the DNA test. Okay? So we went ahead and gave it another bite at the apple and said, all right, we're going to make sure about whether or not you are the father or not. Okay, I understand. So At the time, I believe questions were asked of you as to whether or not there was any possibility, and I'm going to ask you again, at the time you got pregnant, were you with any other man during that time, a month after that time, or a month prior to that time?
No, sir.
Not, you know what I mean, sexual.
Yeah.
And these are kind of embarrassing questions, so I'm just asking you, is there, in your opinion, is there any possibility that anyone else could be the biological father of this child?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're absolutely certain it can only be Xavier Thigpen.
Yes, sir.
And they talk about how men aren't truthful, but some of these ladies will lie and know that they're lying, but because they've gone so far in the wrong way, there's only one thing to do, and that's keep up the lie. But what they'll try to do is be like, oh, I didn't know. Or they'll try to use their emotions to manipulate the situation and say, oh, well, everything was so hard. I was in a bad spot. There's no way that I could have kept tabs on this. It's just something that slipped through the cracks. Let me go without any consequences.
Okay. And so you were frustrated last time, but agreed to, okay, let's get the DNA test, because I explained to you that if this was a stall tactic, then it doesn't matter because we can go way back on this child support issue. You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it was kind of like no harm, no foul. Let's get it cleared up, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, were you surprised when this current DNA test result came back and said he was not the father?
Well, I didn't know that it didn't say that until after she showed me the picture. Because she said the reason that she showed me the picture was because it didn't come back positive. And I said that that's not him. And so, like I said, I was very surprised that he would do that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised given his status and things of that nature.
Okay. So and I want to make sure I have your testimony correct. You're stating that when you saw the picture, you're talking about the picture of the person that showed up and took the DNA test.
Yes.
That picture was taken by the people that were doing the testing,
Yes.
and that picture was supposed to be a picture of Xavier Thigpen, correct?
If that picture was shown right now and it was put to his face when he shows his face in his camera, everyone on this court will be able to see that that is not him.
Okay. Okay. So you're stating that, do you know who the picture is who the person is?
It's his older brother.
Okay. So is it your testimony that you believe he had his older brother go and take that test?
I mean, based on that picture, yes, sir. I would hope he would not do that, but being shown that picture, and I know I had to take a photo as well.
Right.
Given the same situation, he had his brother to go and take the test. And I was telling the young lady also that if he went and took the test, how do I know that it was his brother that got swabbed or however they did the DNA testing? It just makes you wonder what else occurred that we don't know about.
Well, ma'am, let me say this. If the whole idea of taking the picture is to confirm that the man that took the test is the man in the picture, and when you saw the picture, you're saying that's not Xavier Thigpen.
Yes, sir. But what I'm also saying is that this is a local town where they are, like I said, very well-known people. And it took us forever for him to get served. And I'm not saying that he was avoiding it, but you work at the sheriff's office. It took us forever for him to be served.
Okay.
I don't know if you were avoiding it. You were aware that I was doing this because I text you multiple times about it.
So basically, you're saying that he pulled a switcheroo on you, and he said, well, this DNA, look at the picture. This DNA test says I'm not the father. You're saying, no, it was your brother that took the test. You are the father. Bro, just take the test. Well, he already did. I mean, I think probably what you're trying to do is, like he says, this is, just another tactic to, keep that child support in place.
And it's just, I don't know.
No, I understand, ma'am. So when you say local town stuff, he's well known, you're talking about where he's located now.
Yes.
And what local town is that now?
Anywhere in the city of in the county of Jones County, Laurel, Hebron, anywhere in that area, that is where he's from. And
What
he
state
went to
is that?
college in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
And he went to college up the road at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So
Okay, all right. All right. So you're questioning the validity of the test.
yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. So what you're asking is for a test that you can confirm that Mr. Thigpen does actually submit to. That you're asking for what you believe, you need a valid test, period.
Yes. I
Okay.
mean, it was him, the one that's saying that he has the belief that he's not the father. So if you believe that, why would you not go and give a valid test?
Right. I got you. Okay.
That wasn't my request. I know who the father is. All I
Right.
was asking was for assistance, and he's the one that's, doing all these extra things to where we have to prolong everything. If you don't want to take care of your child, then just say that, and I'll just dead all of this, and I won't even worry about it because it's
Okay.
getting to the point where it's a headache.
Okay, Ms. Bernard. Thank you. All right. Ms. Lee, do you have any further questions for Ms. Bernard?
No, Your Honor, no further questions for this witness.
Okay, Mr. Thigpen, can you hear me okay? I think you got it on mute. You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Do you, since you're representing yourself at this point, Mr. Thigpen, I need to make sure I give you the opportunity. Do you have any questions for Ms. Bernard at this point?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm going to give you your opportunity to speak, Mr. Thigpen. Do not worry. I've got to follow the procedure. And normally, if you had a lawyer in this procedure, your lawyer would be able to question Ms. Bernard. And that's why I asked you if you had any questions for Ms. Bernard. So your answer is no, you don't have any questions at this point.
Correct. And as I told in the last session, I do have a lawyer, and that's the one who advised me DNA test need to be on file. So
I want to give you your chance. I mean, you're sitting here telling me I'm not the father. I want to test, and I'm agreeing that you should get tested.
Well, I think that's what he wants to do because at that point it'll be hearsay. He say, she say, his word against hers, and vice versa. And a lot of times the courts do not favor the man's side of things. It usually goes to the woman because for whatever reason, we can't find the evidence, so you still got to pay it. He's saying it's time to put up or shut up. I'm about to take the DNA test, no questions until after that. And the question after that is, when these payments gonna stop? Let me know what I need to do to stop these payments because the child ain't mine.
All right? Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
Okay. But I've got the mother, Miss Bernard, saying that that's not him in the picture. So that makes her to lend to believe, as the court, that someone other than you took the test because that's the picture that's attached. So I get it when you admit, I'm glad you did. You were honest. You're law enforcement. You're not going to lie under oath. So I
Integrity.
appreciate that you under oath said, I win. I was there. They took the picture. This picture is not me. They've got the wrong picture. Okay, I get it. I understand. So you understand we're just trying to get to the right, correct result. You understand that, Mr. Thigpen?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All
I
right.
understand. That's why I said,
Okay.
like, I know the court had power to subpoena the video footage from the time I went in there. I went in there at 10 o'clock. I was a little late, probably like 10:17. Like, I went in there with just my ID, mask, just like the instructions said. So, like, as far as trying to throw my name up because I worked hard for who I am and what I've gotten in life, that's crazy.
Okay. Here's the problem, Mr. Thigpen.
That's crazy.
The problem you face right now is jurisdiction of this case is here in Matagorda County. Okay? Jurisdiction's here. This is where the child is. Okay? This is where the AOP was done. This is where the mother lives with the child. This is where the child was born. So jurisdiction is here. Do you understand that?
I understand, but Judge, by you even saying that, I didn't sign no paperwork in Matagorda. The paperwork I signed was in Harris, and that was the birth certificate.
Okay. All right. So definitely jurisdiction. What I'm getting at is not in Mississippi. Okay.
Correct. So,
All right.
like,
It's not in
bringing up
Jones
who
County.
I am is irrelevant. Right.
Right. It's not in Jones County. That happens to be where you live and where you work at this time. I get it. Okay. All right. So I'm asking you, is there anything else you want to tell the court at this time before I make a ruling on this case?
Just a comment, since, you know, like normal court proceeding, when your name get brought up in somebody's testimony, you have the right to clear things up. She brought something up about dropping the whole thing. You don't have to drop the whole thing, because in 2021, you told me to leave you and the child alone.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Ms. Lee, do you have any other witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor, no other witnesses.
Okay. Ms. Bernard, since you represent yourself, do you have any questions for Mr. Thigpen?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, you've heard my questions for Mr. Thigpen, right?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Thigpen swear under oath that he did appear and he did take the picture and he did submit to the test. You heard him say that, right?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Thigpen acknowledge that that is not him in the photo, and that somehow the test result is flawed because they attached the wrong photo to the test result, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to tell the court at this time?
I just feel like this has been a really long, drawn out case, and for him to be the person to request for the DNA testing, and then we have to now receive this type of information. It's just, I don't understand why we're having to continue to prolong it. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just
Well,
feel like,
here's the problem, Ms. Bernard. I'll explain to you. First of all, I appreciate your patience. Do not lose your patience with this case, because we're going to get to the right result if you just hang in there and Mr. Thigpen hangs in there. But I've got a simple, very critical issue. The simple, very critical issue is I have you swearing absolutely there's no way anyone else can be the father except Xavier Thigpen. I have Mr. Thigpen swearing that he appeared for this test and he showed up and he took the test, and he's swearing that that result should be right because he's did take the test and he showed up, and he can't explain why his picture is not attached to the test. But it does make it look like if that's the person who they drew the test from, then the wrong person's results have been sent to us. Maybe that's a whole different person, a whole different test, and they've got it mixed up. So that tells me the whole thing's flawed. All right, do you understand? So here's what we're going to do. Are you ready for my ruling, Miss Bernard? Do you have anything else you want to tell me at this time?
I just want to know. So, there was an issue maybe like over the summer where I asked him, since you don't want to help out with anything, could I just get Zion's last name changed? And he told me no, because obviously I can't do it on my own because he signed the birth certificate and all the paperwork. And so I just said, since you don't want to be a part of his life, can you just sign the document so they could get his name changed? If he felt so strongly that he's
foolishness, just another rabbit trail, right? Just another rabbit hole. Well, why don't you let me change his name? You're not even worried about that. What you're worried about, it's just a manipulative tactic. Well, if you ain't want to be in his life, then let me change his name. Then leave me alone. Leave me alone. Y'all always want to do stuff y'all do everything else, but do what y'all are supposed to be doing.
not the child, why didn't he let me change his last name?
Well, let me say this. First of all,
Judge, I even brought that up in the last session, Judge, if you remember that.
Hold on, Mr. Thigpen. I understand you want to say something, but let me help out here. Ms. Bernard, we're not going to go there right now. Okay, just like I'm not going to go there when Mr. Thigpen wanted to raise the issue about, well, why did she tell me a long time ago not to be in his life? Now, I'm not saying what he's saying is true. I'm not saying what you're saying is true. I'm saying y'all have both gone off into the weeds on this. The only issue before this court right now is whether or not I'm going to rule at this time that Mr. Thigpen is the father. Okay, because I do have an AOP. And I could have ruled that way the last time. But when he brought up the request for the testing, we granted it. And now we come back with flawed results. Okay? And someone else's picture. So I'm ready to rule. Here we go. This is my ruling. I do find I have jurisdiction in this case. And I have Admitted States Exhibit 1, which is showing a negative test result, but the picture of someone other than Mr. Thigpen as the person that took the test. So therefore, if I'm going to rely on that DNA test, it has to be reliable. And it's not, because there's questions still about whether or not a proper DNA test was done, or whether or not there was some type of a mix-up by the DNA test people, or whether or not some type of fraud was being committed. Okay? I don't know. So I know how I'm going to fix that. I'm going to order this case. I'm going to have this case reset for a date in person in Matagorda County. And at that reset date, I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County, where the court can supervise the paternity testing. So I'm ordering both parties to come to court on a specific date, submit to paternity testing here in Matagorda County. And that way, we're going to eliminate any funny business, any confusion. The court's going to supervise this testing and make sure that the testing is done here, where that way we see Mr. Thigpen shows up, Mr. Thigpen gets tested, and there's not going to be any mix-up, because he's going to be the person that's going to be taking get the picture taken up, and it'll be his DNA that'll be taken, as well as yours again, Ms. Bernard. We're going to have a brand new test done here at Matagorda County. They said they will have people here to do the testing, and that way we can get the testing done in a system that it will be reliable, that we can all count upon. Now, what that does is that forces you, Ms. Bernard, to have to come to court that day and be here for the testing. And that forces you, Mr. Thigpen, to have to be here that day and submit to the testing. Okay? But I look at it this way. This is going to settle one way or the other. Because if it comes back positive, then Mr. Thigpen's the father, and we deal with it. And if it comes back negative, I will say, Ms. Bernard, we've done it where we've gone through the system right here in the courthouse, supervised by the court in Matagorda County. You understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to the institute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Fortunately, it's in the summertime. School's out. I know
Yeah,
you're.
but you can't keep
Dry it up. You're sitting up there crying. Oh, I'm so stressed. I got to bring my son back through this. No, you're not. You're not stressed. You're just worried that actually the results were what they were. The DNA place just got the picture mixed up. But the test was taken. That's what you're worried about. That the test is actually what it said it was. But now, when the court is saying, okay, we're going to play this game, you come up, he comes up, and we'll supervise it. Because we're going to take our word for it. And now you want to start the tears to flowing. Another manipulation tactic.
explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor? In front of everybody. That's embarrassing.
Okay,
For a
ma'am.
situation that's unnecessary.
Okay, ma'am.
Very.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, the court date is July the 8th.
I understand that, but I'm saying initially I had to do that. Now I'm having to take him again somewhere to get tested, and he's not, in his mind, he knows, Mommy, I'm not sick. What's going on with me? You
Okay,
can't explain
ma'am.
to a child, you have to go get tested for DNA.
And
He's
how old is your
grown.
son?
He just turned 5. And do you
Okay.
think his dad called him? No, he didn't.
Okay, ma'am, please don't interrupt me. Let me address your frustration. Your son's 5. Okay? At 5 years old, you can pretty much just say, hey, we're just doing something. He's not going to the doctor. Okay? They're just going to do the DNA swab testing here. Okay? Or whatever testing they do. It'll be quick. It'll be done. It'll be finished. Okay, ma'am? Do you understand?
Hey, we're going to do something medically. Give him a lollipop and it'll be done. That's it. You and Mommy are going to the office, to the doctor's office. For what, Mommy? We're going to get some things checked out and then give him a sucker afterwards. That's it. Once again, what you're worried about is that support that you were thinking that you were going to get, because it seems like you think that, hold on, I was saying this with so much confidence. This might be going away. I might not be able to force him to pay child support because his DNA result is going to come back correctly. But now this time it's going to have his picture attached to it, the right one.
I'm
Yes.
trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. If he comes back positive, that issue of paternity goes away. He's dad, end of story. We move on, we finish. I am going to finish this case. Do we understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. And if the right thing turns out to be that Mr. Thigpen is not the father, then Mr. Thigpen, the right result is that Mr. Thigpen is not the father. If that's what the test shows, a reliable test.
In no disrespectful way, you have told me multiple times that you were putting, quote unquote, his foot, the fire under his foot for this stuff to get handled, right? You're the one that told me that we needed to have this DNA test so that it could be nipped in the bud. And I agreed to that. I understood where you were coming from. I had no issue with it. He wanted this DNA test. We were supposed to have a court date in April. He couldn't do April because he had trial, so we had to move it again. Now we're in a situation where he's telling us that he went and took this DNA test. And now the DNA test results are not correct. It's not even his DNA results. The issue with this is, if I'm not mistaken, he has a relative that works at a place like this, which is who I am thinking is in that picture. This is so unnecessary.
You don't have an argument here. Be quiet. You're not going to have to worry about the relative. It's going to be supervised by the court. Number one. Number two, you have multiple labs where the DNA tests go to be processed, all the results put in and sent back to you. You're not going to have no issue at all. I'm telling you. Oh, I'm going to get screwed. The only way that you would get screwed is if that child wasn't his and he had, and all of the child support that you were thinking was going to be revoked. That's it.
And it's like he is constantly being okay to get away with this stuff. And I think that somebody that works within the criminal justice system should have consequences for submitting a false DNA test. This
Judge,
is
for
a
the record, my
situation
brother do
that
not
deals
work down
with
there.
Hold on.
Again, the goalpost needs to stay where the goalpost was a few minutes ago. Well, he's lying. We don't know that. But you know what? We're going to handle all of that when we get these new results. She's playing games. This judge is he's actually doing both of you a favor. You don't think so, but he's doing both of you a favor so you can find out who the real dad is. And this man can go on about his life doing what he was doing, and he can be more careful next time. But this is what modern women do. They try to catch a man and put him on the hook for something that's not his. They try to make him pay for something that has nothing to do with him. Period. That ain't mine. That don't got nothing to do with me. Now you got to do the hard work, which is really what you're crying about. You got to do the hard work to figure out who you was sleeping with and go through that process and make sure, oh, hey, this is the person. Oh, no, it's not the person. This is the person. You've been out there messing with too many people, and that's why you're upset, because you got to go through that process potentially with them or raise a child on your own. That's what you're worried about. Either I let it go and get no help from nobody, or I track these guys down, which I probably don't know where they are, and try to see if I can go through the whole entire process that way and get some support for my child. This man is an upstanding citizen, I would say, as much as I can know about him, because he submitted to the test. It remains to be seen whether those other guys that you've been messing around with would actually submit to a test. And at that point, you would have to eat the cost of having a child by a person that you don't even know who the father is.
Get ready with me to confront my best friend for sleeping with my boyfriend. Basically, this bitch, was sleeping at my house, and we had the guys, like, sleeping over too, and it's, like, a group of people, and we were all, like, in the basement, and they're like, oh, we're gonna go upstairs and go get some food. And so basically, they were, like, up there for honestly a really long time. Like, they never told me what they were making or anything. So they were just up there, and like it wasn't really loud anymore. So I just figured they stopped talking because they're not like close or anything. So then my other friend, she went upstairs with her boyfriend because I don't know what they were doing, but they went upstairs. Okay. So they're upstairs and they were up there for like a good amount of time also, but like no one really thought anything of it because like whatever, they're dating. And then all of a sudden she comes like running back down the stairs. And she was like, "Oh my God, Madison, like you're gonna be so pissed." And at this point I'm like, because of the situation, I'm like, what the So basically I thought I could trust her, but we like just started being friends too. I thought I could trust her, but I guess not. So I'm gonna go confront her. Okay, wish me luck. Bye.
Be your own kind, man. Be safe out there. If it comes to fisticuffs, use your fist. Don't use no weapons.